Closed captioning of this program is brought to you by Slimers Inorganic Flesh Bait. Fish hit hard and often with Slimers.
Okay, good sized fish. What I've done just to change it up, and I lost it, so I can't show you, the fish just threw it. I put on a purple crayfish, and I'll show you how to rig it in just a moment. And I was working this bank real tight, because you see the big boulders that go right into the water? I figured, you know, a crayfish imitation for this early, right tight to the bank, would probably be productive. And guess what? Nice smallmouth again. Now, we're just twitching it along the bottom. I don't know if he's got any more jumps left. They usually jump right off the bat and shake their head so violently that they throw those Slimers off. You know, if you were walleye fishing, I don't think you'd have the same problem, because walleyes don't fight anywhere near as much as bass. Look at that beautiful bass. Now you'll notice that the shape of the jig head that I'm using is a little bit different, and I'm going to explain to you what I did in just a moment. It's a beautiful trophy smallmouth. To get on light line like this, now let me show you how I rigged this crayfish, because it's kind of neat. I'm going to cut my line. Because I'm using light line, I'm using my teeth, but really you shouldn't. What I've done here, I'll talk about the jig head. This was an oval shaped jig head. I took my pliers and I squished it down so that it would be flat. Okay, so you can see that it's flat. It's only 1/8 ounce, and you can see that it has an offset 60-degree eye, so that when I pull it, it'll just swim across the bottom. Now watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take my little knife out. This is a bit of a process, but it's worth it when you catch bass like that are 17 to 18 inches. I've got my knife ready here. I'm going to pull out one of these craws, and you know, purple is a great color to use for bass fishing. So these are 5" by 2.5 inches wide, okay? So here's the crayfish right here, the way it comes from Slimers. And I'll tell you, it is hard to hold on to. You can see they even have a little flap at the end. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to pierce a tiny hole, because remember I said that they've got like a gauze material in the center so that it stays on your hook. What I've done is I pierced the hole so the eye of the jig sticks out, and then I'm going to take the front of the hook and I'm going to pierce it right through the body. See right there? I'm just going to push it in. Okay, so my Slimers is going to stay on there really well, and it's almost weedless, to be honest with you, even though I'm fishing it on a rock bottom. Just sliding it on there. Now I'm going to take my line and I'm going to use my favorite knot. If I didn't want to cut my line every time, I could use one of my favorite locking snaps. So right now I'm wrapping it around 4 or 5 times, putting it back through the center. This is one of my favorite knots here. It tastes slimy too. Okay, I'm going to trim my tag off. So these pliers are kind of handy, or pliers, little knife, because they've got little scissors as well. So I'm going to trim my tag, and I will show you the action of this crayfish in the water here. Because the weight is flat, you'll see that it drops evenly. I'm going to try to bring it up. Do you see the action? The way those little arms kick? I'll try to hold it just below the surface. Look at that action. I'm going to cast it out again and just swim it for you. Does that look like it's alive? I wouldn't be surprised if a fish came right here and smacked it. This is the 5" crayfish, and I'm going to see if I can get another fish to hit. Now look at that. Doesn't that look slimy? What a great bait. Man, when fishermen get onto this, they're going to be catching a lot more fish. Okay, let me work this bank again.